check it out. We are in Outlands. Man, every time I come here, it's a moment. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I ever came here, it just blew my mind. And it still does every time I look at this place. Like, I just have to, like, stop and look just because... I mean, there isn't a lot going on. There's some demons fighting. The sky's crazy. Look at the planets out there. The floating weird islands. And then there's the dark portal that you can't go back through. Check this out. I don't know if you knew this or not, but look. If you try to walk back through, you can't. It's just there. It's kind of dumb, to be honest with you. Although you can go through a Stormwind portal or an Orgrimmar portal, so at least I can get back to Orgrimmar quickly from here, I guess, if that's my thing. But nonetheless, we are in Outlands. Finally, we have crossed the dark portal. And we're going to begin the questing adventures again, because this is so much fun. I think this time I'm going to try to do a dungeon. I don't know how long the queue is going to be, but we'll see what happens. I think that from here on out, you'll probably see me do a few more dungeons. I'm sure we'll get into that dungeon before the run's over. And we're going to begin. I think the first thing we want to do, though, is go by flying. So, and I got to figure out what the heck is going on around here. I think I need to get... Did I get that flight path? Oh, check out this mount. This is the private mount we're going to try to ride around on. Okay, I don't have to pick that up. But, yes, we're going to go over here, and we're going to see where is the... I think this quest is one I don't want. Is this the stupid bring... Oh, no, this is fine. There's one quest here I always pick up that I don't do. It's the one with the towers, because I don't, it just takes too long. But it used to be worth it, I guess, if you did PvP stuff. I actually did a lot of PvP in Burning Crusade, but that's a little irrelevant at this point. Here we go. Here's what we're looking for. Alright, where is the mount dude person? Here it is. Can we buy it yet? Oh, yes, we can't. No, you gotta be 60. Really? I thought it was 58. Or, yeah, 58. Oh, well, we're almost there anyway, so we'll do the first quest or two, and we'll be there in no time, and then we can fly. Oh my gosh. Which, I guess it doesn't really matter for you, because I fast forward through all the traveling anyways, but it'll be great for me, because, flying is great. So, yeah, it's gonna be nice. But, it's kind of funny, because I like flying here, but you don't fly in Draenor, and to be completely honest with you, I don't know about you guys, I haven't missed it. I haven't missed flying. Have you missed flying? Because I don't miss it. I mean, flying is nice, but, it's convenient, but it's also incredibly boring to me. I mean, at first it was really cool, but after a while, especially, really it was more in Old World. I didn't mind it in Northrend as much. I didn't mind it here, even though I flew slowly here because I used to not know how to make gold. But now, like... nowadays, flying it's just boring, especially in Old World. Like, if you're flying around Azeroth, what made me really hate flying was archaeology. Because I used to fly around and do all the archaeology stuff, and by the time I'd get anywhere, I was bored because I'd spent all that time flying. It sucked. Like, I don't know. I guess I would start using the Flight Master just because freaking I could walk away and let it auto, even though it was slower. I'd just walk away and go do something, like something else, read stuff, Alt-Tab out, because flying sucks. At least in Draenor, I can get pretty much anywhere relatively quickly. I mean, it's pretty quick. Even the furthest, point from each other is like, it's not that far compared to, me flying there. So yeah, I don't really miss flying. I think in Draenor they did a good job. I think I called it, where we're not going to fly. It's never going to happen. 6.2 is coming out. Guess what? No flying. There's a great possibility. Here's my next question. Do you guys think that 6.2 is the final patch of the expansion? Because, okay, spoiler alert. I'm going to throw that out there right now. Spoiler alert. I'm going to talk about 6.2 stuff because I read ahead. So, in 6.2, we find out now through the legendary quest that the Iron Horde is pretty much gone. I mean, there's Kilrog's clan, and then there's, Grom doesn't have the Warsong clan anymore. We took them out when we took out Garrosh, so they've been gone. We've pretty much taken out every clan, and all that was left was Kilrog and Garrosh and whatever remnants of whatever clans were remaining. And Kilrog turns on Garrosh for... Why are there things dead here? Does that mean people have been here? Well, anyways, Kilrog turns on Garrosh to side with Gul'dan, and he drinks the demon blood. So now, in a way, Gul'dan is the top heel, right? If we're going to go with wrestling terms.
Does he have no conscience? Does he have no heart? Do you have no soul? You son of a bitch! Do you realize what you've just done?
Gul'dan is now the main bad guy. Grom kind of flipped. And, well, at least we think so. He probably is going to flip. He's probably like a Bolvar figure now. You remember how Bolvar was kind of like captured by the Lich King and all that kind of stuff. So that's probably where Grom is. He's captured. He's not like roaming out there. We're probably not going to fight him at this point. We'll probably team up. Especially if they follow the story, you know, which it's hard to say. I doubt we're going to have a raid devoted entirely to Grom. And I honestly doubt that we're going to have a raid devoted entirely to Gul'dan. So, Gul'dan and Grom, so far, at least in the boss battles, haven't shown up yet. So, I mean, it's hard to say what's going to happen there, but I just don't see there being a raid, an extra raid specifically for either one of those guys. There's a good chance that Grom plays a role in helping us defeat, you know, the demons. Archimonde is the final boss, and honestly, it doesn't get much bigger than that. We're fighting Archimonde, dude. That's like, I mean, that dude's powerful. Dude's like as powerful as the Lich King, maybe stronger. I mean, it took blowing up the World Tree to take him out. The dude is a hoss. The fact that we're even able to fight him at this point should key us in on how strong we're becoming. So, yeah, so Archimonde is the main bad guy, and I think that's a pretty darn good end expansion boss. So do we get another raid tier after that? It's hard to say. I mean, it doesn't mean that we won't. Illidan was the main villain in BC, and we fought him pretty early. I'd like to see a final patch if they do anything. You know, I know they want to kind of speed things up. A lot of people have theorized that we're only going to get 2 raid tiers, and if we don't get another raid tier after 6.2, I'm actually fine with that. But what would be nice, though, is maybe like a final, like a patch, kind of like the Sunwell, probably without a raid tier, or either a returning to Azeroth that leads into the next event, or before that, what if we had like we have to construct a new dark portal because we blew up the other one. See, right now we're all stranded on Draenor, right? Not this Draenor, this broken down one, but the Draenor, the old Draenor. So we're all stranded there, and what we have to do is get back there somehow. And of course, some people have made their way over. Jane has come over. I think Vol'jin is going to make his way over. So there has been a little bit of teleporting here and there. Who wonder if I could take this guy? Used to be an elite, I think. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, we have to send most of the army that we've built up, back home, and that's going to require a massive portal. That's not something that like one mage can do. There's no mage that has the power to send us all back there. There's a big army here. But we're going to have to get home somehow. Maybe the last patch will be us finding a way back home, building a new portal or whatever through our garrisons. Who knows? We have to gather materials. Maybe because we needed Gul'dan. They needed a Gul'dan to open the last portal. We may need a Gul'dan to open the next portal. I mean, it's hard to tell. Maybe Gul'dan escapes and we escape with him through a portal. Who knows? I mean, they could do anything, right? I mean, they could open a portal to that world's Azeroth, and that's where we go next. I doubt it, because I think we're kind of done with the alternate timeline thing. You know, as cool as it's been, the overall story hasn't really progressed. It might lead into something, but really we're not progressing the overall, like, you know, Warcraft, story. It's more like an alternate universe story. And, you know, like I said, it could lead into something, but, you know, it's almost like Pandaria. I mean, well, Pandaria was more of like a filler kind of thing. Pandaria was legit filler, kind of like a Japanese anime filler. That's what Pandaria was, which is fine. I mean, it was fun, but this is kind of the same. This is an alternate world, you know, which is all, like I said, all fine. I don't care. It's all fun. It's a blast. Love Draenor. Love seeing all that stuff. Getting to know characters that I only heard about because I didn't play Warcraft 3. And these guys need to drop their blood, man. What the heck? Oh, now you're gonna fight me. But yeah, I wonder. So, what do you guys think? You think 6.2 is the last raid content? You think we're gonna get more? Let me know what you think in the comments below, as always. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to find out what happens, because I honestly don't know. Up until now, I pretty much knew what was going to happen every time. I knew Garrosh was going to be an end boss because they told us. I knew Deathwing was going to be the end boss because they told us. And I knew that the Lich King was going to be the end boss because they told us. This time, I actually don't know what's going to happen. And I don't think it's going to be Grum, because they kind of told us. But you know, I think it's going to be Archimonde. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. So I'm excited because I don't know. So, yeet. Alright, here we go. Man, Hellfire Peninsula, I swear, is one of those, it's like one of the most underrated zones in the entire game. If you ever saw my top 10 favorite zones video, I listed Hellfire Peninsula as one of my favorites, and it's funny because a lot of people criticize me because Nagrand was not on my list. You know, heaven forbid somebody has a different opinion from what a lot of people think. I think Nagrand is one of the most overrated zones, and not that it's not pretty. Okay, gotta watch the Fel Reaver, but that right there is what makes this zone exciting. You know, that and just the uniqueness of it. It's a little bit like Blasted Lands, but it's got fire popping out of the ground. It's got like the freaking Fel Reaver, demons everywhere, portals, and all kinds of just craziness going on. I always thought this zone was awesome, and you know, I just really enjoy it. The music in the background that you're hearing, you might not know where it's from. You might recognize the tone. If you can figure it out, I'm going to let you try to figure it out. If you know, this is actually a theme from OCRemix. I'll probably have to give them credit in the comments just because I'm using it. It is through the soundtrack mod though. But it's from OCRemix. It's a remix to another song from a different game. So if you can figure out what game that is, you're awesome. And I'd like to know. So tell me. But anyhow, I love this zone. I mean, this is the ideal introduction to this expansion. I couldn't imagine any of the other zones, you know, making up for this. This was perfect. You know, it really set the tone for the fact that this world is different from the world we've been in, and I think they did a fantastic job with that. You know, for sure. I mean, this is still, like I said, one of my favorite zones. All the zones here are unique. I don't like all of them. I hate Blade's Edge. I want to try at all costs to skip that. Netherstorm is another neat zone. But I still think of all the zones, this one really captures, like when I think of Outlands, this is what I think of. So yeah, I mean, and you know, like I said, Nagrand is fine, but I think, I mean, on every top 10 list, Nagrand's there, and I don't know why. I really don't. I don't know why people like Nagrand so much. I mean, it's pretty, and I like the quests. You know, some of the quests are fine. The legendary beast quest that kind of got nerfed because it was like you used to have to kill 30. You know, that was a thing, and that's memorable. So I mean, it's not that it's not memorable, but in the world am I doing? But you know, I still don't think that, you know, it's one of my top favorites by any means. One of the ones that I do like, that most people like, is Howling Fjord. I do like that one. I think that one deserves all the praise that it gets. But I think at the same time, a lot of it is the music. I think that the Howling Fjord is carried a lot by its music. As a zone, it's fine. Again, it's one of those zones that kind of sets the tone for the expansion. But, you know, it's not... I mean, it's pretty and all that, but I can't think of any quest lines that were super memorable. There were a few that, I mean, other than, like, any more than what was in other zones. I mean, the whole questing experience in Wrath was memorable. But I can't think of anything that sets it apart quest-wise. I mean, from all the other zones. The entire expansion just rocked it with the quests. I mean, Cataclysm improved the questing experience. Wrath kind of started it. These guys are annoying. Go away. I need to talk to this guy. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. One of the things I've been thinking about, you know, when I think about this game, is that What in the world am I doing? Okay, gotta get back on the mount. So, you know, when I look back at all the expansions, a lot of people love vanilla for nostalgia reasons, and a lot of people like Burning Crusade for, its improvements and for nostalgia reasons. But when you really look at the most beloved expansion through the majority of the player base, it's Wrath. Either Wrath is praised and adored by most people, or it's at least well liked. There's a number of people that might say that Wrath was a little too easy, and that maybe it got boring at the end because it took too long. Okay, what are we doing? Defeat enemies around. Okay, we gotta do the portal thing. That's cool. It might took too long, and all those things are valid. I think the easiness was a little bit of what helped bring more people in, though. I think that, because at the time, you have to, everybody knows that was the biggest. I mean, Cataclysm was the biggest, time, we had the biggest population in Cataclysm, but a lot of that was fueled by Wrath, and a combination of Wrath and the hype for Cataclysm. So, what I'm getting at, because I beat around the bush like a freak, is that Wrath is probably the most popular and well looked upon expansions of all of them. And I think it's because, for the most part, it was the most fun. People, had a lot to do, a lot of variety. Look at that, we're level 60, and I'm going to break in my thought, and we'll get back to it, because we need to pick a talent. We're going to go with Shockwave, because that's what my macro has, and Stormbolt, because that's what my macro has, and it's easy to work with. So now we have even more attacks to hit with, and check it out, we can do raids that we're never going to do. But back to my thought. So, we can get flying now. I guess I'll take this. Fine. Yeah, we'll go get that after we finish this quest, or whatever. So, anywho, with Wrath being the most loved expansion, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. It was a Lich King expansion. The story was fantastic. The dungeons were useful. They got kind of boring at the end, but the progression felt nice. You could get gear from doing dungeons that was good gear. The badge system was good back then because it wasn't too out of control. The gear meant something. You could get old tier gear through it. People liked that. It was easy for alts. Dalaran was cool, and there were a lot of things that just really people liked. There were dailies, but there weren't too many. I mean, there were plenty. There weren't too many. They were unique. Winter Grasp was great. For the most part, people liked it. Vehicle combat was a bit of a failure, but they tried something. I forgot the skin. But yeah, and so there were so many things that Blizzard did so well in Wrath that people loved, and what brought so much excitement and attention to the game and brought players into the game. And it honestly feels like that ever since then they have tried to go as far away from that expansion as possible in almost every area. I mean, in this expansion, let's look at, we can overlook the catastrophe of freaking Cataclysm. I mean, it had some cool things, but it was probably the worst expansion overall considered by most. And then there's Pandaria, and it did some things, but it was still, it wasn't Wrath. You look at this expansion though, and you have an opportunity for all this story, all this lore, all this stuff that they put in story-wise, with the Lord of the Clans videos or whatever it was called, Lords of War, I forget. And then you have like these awesome cutscenes that you put in, and they had a few here and there. But through the leveling process, there are a few neat scenes. Here's our dungeon pop, but there are no, it's not like Wrath. It's not like you're in the middle of doing a zone and the Lich King pops in, or anything like that. It's just straight up like, oh, we're just doing a thing. Not, like the raids in where are we? Are we where I want to be? Yes, this is the dungeon I wanted. I probably won't get as much XP, but it'll still be worth it, I think. But especially with these quests. But like the raids, the boss encounters are fine. High Mall and Blackrock Foundry, they look good. The boss fights are great. The rewards are fine. I mean, more or less. But they feel like they don't have a soul. Like those raids just, freaking Pandaria had more story in their raids than this expansion's raids do. There's nothing. Like, I don't know why I'm fighting half the people I'm fighting. I guess, I mean, I chalk it up, oh, they're part of the Iron Horde, they're helping the dude, okay. But, yeah, I don't care about any of them. I mean, even in Cataclysm, when you went to, I remember when you went to, where was it? The first raid, Blackwing Descent or whatever. There was a bit of story for a lot of those boss fights, like the Blind Dragon, and they explained to you how it came to be and how it was like a failed experiment, and that was neat. But I don't get that with this expansion at all. There's literally, like, nothing. There's no explanation for any of those fights. I don't know why I kill Khadgar right off the bat. I don't know why I do that. Why does Khadgar, the dude who we learned through, you know, the stories that they told, who broke free from fighting in an ogre arena, why are we fighting him in an ogre arena and killing him? Why? For what reason does that happen? To prove that, oh, we're the Iron Horde and we're awesome? I mean, come on. Is that really? That's like the most inconsistent character writing I've ever heard. I mean, justify it all you want for the reasons that the shady reasons that they give. That's crap. And I don't know what led us to that at all. I mean, there was a little bit of story with the campaign missions that lasted, and there's a little bit of story with the, you know, with the legendary quest line. I guess that's kind of where the majority of the story is now, you know. And there were some rewarding cutscenes at the end of the zones, but honestly, there's no story. There's nothing driving this story, hardly at all. I mean, you know, and I'm talking particularly in the raids. I mean, I get why we're fighting Blackhand. You know, that makes sense. We got to take him down. He's the armory. It's going to cripple the Iron Horde. But you realize that we're going from killing Blackhand to fighting demons in Hellfire Citadel, and what leads us to that is one cutscene. Frickin' one cutscene. Gul'dan, who we've been trying to stop, still manages to get a raid going. What the frick happened, dude? It's just so freaking disjointed. It's kind of frustrating. It's one of my biggest gripes with the expansion. Beyond that, I mean, you know, I've said it before, dungeons there's no benefit. They're finally, in 6.2 they're going to add mythic, harder dungeon, you know, mythic mode dungeons or whatever, or freaking, so you can get, like, I guess item level 680, which is good. That's better than what you get in normal Blackrock, so that's great. That's going to be great catch-up for alts, if it's not too freaking hard. If it's too hard, it's hard to tell if that's going to be worth it or not, but we'll see. You know, so, I mean, but up until now, dungeons have been kind of crap. You know, like, they're there. Some people run them. I don't know what for. I have no idea what the heck people run dungeons for. I honestly don't. Some people run them, but, you know, I don't know why. There's not much there. There's not much benefit to running them now. So, I don't know. You know, in Wrath, dungeons were awesome. The gear was awesome. There were great rewards. There was a reason to continue to run them every week. You know, and now there's not. You know, and now, you know, like, and then there's rep. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get rep up, the rep for, who is it? The Laughing Skull Orcs, because I want to get rid of my trading post, but I want to get the pet. I don't really care about the mount because I'm not going to grind up, and this is my point. You know, I get that, you know, the rewards for the rep aren't super important. Really, they never have been in any expansion, let's be honest. Also, what the heck is this tank even doing? But, alright, I'll attack Skull. But, you know, I mean, the rewards that aren't really worth it, but I have to go, basically, what I have to do to get rep up through all this crap. That's a pretty good chest piece. I don't need it, though, but I have to go through the Everbloom, not the Everbloom dungeon, but the Everbloom Wilds in Gorgrond, and I have to kill mobs that reward 6, I'm not kidding, 6 rep a piece. That's what I have to do to get to Exalted, starting from Friendly. I mean, I'm Friendly now, and I need to at least get to Revered to get the pet, but, oh, okay, I pulled ads. I suck. Crap. I'm gonna die. I died. Good guy healer for rezzing me. Whatever. But anyhow, okay, go away. Getting that rep up is insane. Like, it's a bit nuts. And it's going to take forever. And I guess that's kind of the point. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, this is going back to like Burning Crusade crap, isn't it? Like, I have to literally farm rep for hours to get that up. I mean, there are a few tricks to kill things faster. There's like this buff that you can get that'll make you do more damage much faster. And you can kill the ads quicker, but still, even at that point, it's still going to take like hours like of just sitting out there killing things. And I'm like, I mean, you know, in past expansions, we have had more efficient ways. We had a dungeon thing where we could do a dungeon. I mean, you know, give us a reason to run dungeons. How about getting rep? Remember that? Remember when we used to do rep from dungeons through tabards? Or, I mean, I didn't like it as much, but the Pandaria was better than this. I mean, I literally have to kill, I just farm endlessly, forever, to get a pet, an achievement, or an amount, and I'm like, really? I mean, that's insane. We're going back like 5 expansions. Not 5, like 4. We're going back to Burning Crusade, when you have to just kill trash for hours on end until you hit Exalted. It's boring. That's not fun. That's crap game design. That's going back years. Legitimately, that's like, really? It'd be like going back to, it'd be like going back to Super Mario 64 camera controls. That's what that's like. Because those sucked, and there's no reason to bring them back. Oh, but guess what? They did anyways. Except they never did, because that'd be stupid, because that'd be a dumb thing to do. You know, and it'd be fine, like, you know, if you could grind it, but you could also do this, like do, I don't know, dungeons to get rep, or turn in items like you do with the Steam Weedle to get rep. But no, instead it's going to be this freaking long grind. And I guess they figured you'll get it while you do those Apexis dailies that no one does, because those suck as well, because it's like the most backhanded, hey, we're going to get rid of justice points. Except, no, we're not, because we're going to have Apexis crystals, which are basically justice points, because they give you the same crap justice points gave you. Mounts and gear, which it's literally the same thing through a daily, but you're not going to get those from dungeons either, because guess what? We want you to do this specific daily to get Apexis crystals. It's the most backhand. It really freaking irritates me. I've complained about this stuff a lot. I'm sorry, but my point is, you know, why does Blizzard run away from the expansion that got them so much love for their game? And I'm not saying like just don't go beyond that. Don't do anything besides what you did in Wrath. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, why do so far the opposite so many times from what Wrath was, when that was the expansion that everybody loved so much? I don't understand. I really don't. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't skin. I gotta help these guys. Why is everybody faster than me, by the way? I'm like freaking slow fat panda back here, just, you know. But I don't get it. I really don't. And I guess that's kind of like my long rant for the video, is that I don't understand why they do that. I don't understand why we don't get more Wrath love. You know, I'm not saying, like I said, not saying it should be exactly like Wrath. It's just that, you know, Wrath did some things pretty well. You know, we didn't have as much of an issue with alt catch up. You know, it wasn't as hard. I'm not saying, I mean, it got easier, but, you know, at first it wasn't easy, because it's never easy at first, and it really shouldn't be. But, you know, it got easier because there was a system in place. But, you know, this time there's just, and that's why people don't feel like there's a lot to do, because there really isn't. You know, and yeah, in Cataclysm, it started with Cataclysm. The game went from being ridiculously easy to ridiculously hard, and that's the load up the gear. Yeah, see, that wasn't worth it. I'll talk about that here in a minute. It went from really easy to really hard, and no one liked that, and ever since then they just have never gone back to it. I don't know, maybe that's why. Maybe they don't want it, they're afraid if it becomes too easy again, the next expansion they make, people are going to hate it. And I guess that makes sense, but nonetheless. So here's the thing. You know, if I had ran this dungeon when I was 59, the amount of XP I would have gotten for completing it would have been 4 times as much. And at 60 they nerf it, and I forgot about that. This was kind of, I'm not gonna say it's a waste of time because I can turn in these quests and it'll give me some, and that was fun to do anyways. But yeah, I mean it's something they did to nerf it, I guess, because this was such an easy one to do. They felt like, you know, it's not worth it, it's not fair, whatever. And so, but if I was to do the other dungeon that I can randomly queue for, I would get tons more. And next time we do a dungeon, I will get tons more. But we're gonna finish this quest first, and then the next episode maybe we'll queue up for a different dungeon. So we're gonna finish up this quest. We're gonna go get flying, and that's gonna call it an episode. And there we go. We got our 4th one. So there you go. I hope you guys liked this video. I'm gonna continue playing this. I'm gonna continue seeing how far we go. We're gonna make it to. We made it to 60. It's pretty awesome. Did a dungeon. It was kind of worth it. It was kind of not worth it. So I want to close with this thought. Don't frickin' do Hellfire Ramparts post 60 because it's not worth it. Because of the way they nerfed it. So there you go. There's your lesson of the day. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day. This is Kephas. Until next time.